Lots of you are collecting Nepenthes, and you're buying little Nepenthes like this, and I know you're wondering, what are they going to turn into? So all baby Nepenthes start out as small rosettes of little leaf plants like this. If you've never bought one before, this is the kind of happy, healthy little plant that we're going to send out to you. But then as they grow, this will get bigger and bigger. You can repot these just gently into a bigger pot as they get going. And when they're small like this, we'll trim them. So right here is the pitcher. This is the tendril. This here is a flattened petiole that many people refer to as the leaf, but actually the pitcher is the leaf. At any rate, usually I like to cut it right here, right here at the tendril, like that, because that still looks nice and it's still photosynthesizing to make sugars for the plant. And then when that goes totally brown, like this one has here, then I'll cut that. A crazy thing about Nepenthes is they're just going to keep growing bigger and bigger until I'd say they get about this big across. And then all at once, they're going to start to vine. I'll take you over here really quick and I'll show you what that transition looks like. So this Maxima wavy leaf, yes, it has this amazing crinkly wavy leaf, is in the process of making that transition from basal rosette into vining plant. And you can see it's a really crazy transition. These nodes, the space between leaves, was like maybe half an inch, maybe even tighter down there. There it's an inch, and all of a sudden it's like 3 or 4 inches every single node, up to almost half a foot here. And so that's the way that the plant can vine quickly up into the canopy, getting more light and also gaining access to like flying insects. And that's why they have lower pitchers down here for catching crawling bugs that have this little frilly wing to help them find their way up to the mouth. And you can see the upper pitchers don't have those anymore. They present from the back and they have a little loop so they can climb onto branches in the canopy. At any rate, they're going to keep doing that. And as they do, the stem will often turn brown. This is another good example on a larger plant. Right there, I'm just going to nip that off right there. This picture here is still feeding the plant. Now, if you're a persnickety Virgo type person and you really want it to look neat and tidy all the time, you could cut that off, and that's fine. But if you left it on, it would have given it a little bit more energy to make those next pictures even bigger. So if you can bear it, I recommend leaving them on. Anyways, let's go take a look at an even bigger plant, and we'll check out that brown stem. So this is a Nepenthes ventricosa red by Sanguinea chocolate. It was a cross that was done by Tom Kale, I think like 30 years ago. So it's been vining for quite some time. And you can see it has all this brown stem, which is totally normal. The plant is just going to do that no matter what. They do that in the wild. They do it here. And because we're moving and there's a lot to do around here, obviously nobody has trimmed this for a little while. But that's okay. It only takes a second to really clean these up. You just get in here and just pop them off. A nice sharp pair of scissors. Watch your fingers though.
And the stem.
Yeah, and the stem. That's good advice. You might want to go slowly. I would say just about everybody who works here has one time or the other accidentally cut the whole stem off, which the plant will survive actually. Don't freak out about that. I mean, it's not that, that's a contract moment where you're like, oh, I can't believe I did that. But honestly, there's a node or a bud above every single node here that's dormant. And if I chopped it here, it can totally make a new green growth point even from the brown. It might not because it's dormant, and it can take quite a bit of time, months even. But if you're patient, almost always it'll grow back. At the very worst, all that energy that was in this will go into these basals up here, and you could root the plant for friends if you want to. I'm just going to keep tidying this up really fast, again, avoiding the stem. The Nepenthes grab onto each other, and that's an annoying fact. They just do. But that's how they make their way. They gotta grab stuff to climb up into the jungle canopy. These are old flowers. They look kind of rough on there too, so I like to cut those off when I'm cleaning things up. And you can see how I'm gathering it in my other hand, and that way I don't have to pick all this up later. You can see that is a much nicer looking thing already. And again, a long brown stem growing out from this end, and all the new pictures are coming off of these subsequent leaves and inflating like a little balloon. So unless a new growth point bursts out of this brown, nothing's ever going to grow out of this brown again. There won't be new pitchers that come out of here again unless one of these buds breaks and it makes a new growth point, which sometimes they do. And I know some of you are freaking out right now because you have like 30 Nepenthes in a small tank and you're trying to go like, oh my God, well, what am I going to do when these things vine like that? The good news is you can totally just cut this off. So if you wanted to keep this plant compact and just like this, and you're not really interested in these big upper pitchers vining all over your kitchen, you could totally, like we said, on purpose instead of accident, just chop that off or chop it off up here, and it will start all over again from what we call this basal shoot here. And that's the cycle of rejuvenation that they're always doing, and so it certainly won't hurt them to do that. Anyways, I hope this clears up a little bit, how the Nepenthes are going to grow, helps you not freak out about these brown stems. Don't email us about those. You can, we'll be nice, but it's actually just totally normal.